It is a nice kind of exploration into a time period we didn't have the privilege of exploring. There's some things that are heavy, there's some tragedy, there's also some comedy, and there's also some kind of fired up passion.
We were blessed with a script that was written by an automotive journalist named Alan Paradise. So you start off with something that you know is authentic and correct and accurate, and we went from there. We researched other books written about the guys. We had videos, we had documentaries about the guys, and of course we went to the NHRA, the National Hot Rod Association, and we were able to retrieve all their archival footage and stories and use the museum, the NHRA museum, for lots of information so that we could make a completely accurate, or as accurate as possible, film for our fans.
We all know, or many in this generation know, who Don Prudhomme and Tom McEwen were as the Snake and the Mongoose. And we knew them from the Hot Wheels cars, and we actually, probably most of us had them and played with them. But what we really didn't know is the depth of the backstory behind all that. And the more I kept digging into this, the more intriguing the story got, and the deeper the story got. And there was so much texture and color behind it. And I went, this is more than an article, this is more than a book. There's real cinematic value here.
This story is at its core a great buddy rivalry sports story. I think it's one of the greatest, if not the greatest, rivalries in the history of sports.
What we're trying to do is tell a story about two men at different stages in their life, but who love the same thing for different reasons. You know, Snake loves driving, and he's excellent at it. Certainly one of the best. And Tom loves the flair of it all. And you've got these two guys who are incredibly skilled, but are rivals, turned friends, turned business partners, turned the faces of a global children's brand.
Racing movie? It's not a lot of racing movies. What is this racing movie about? And so when I realized it was really about this piece of history, these guys that had this idea, you know, this innovation almost of what they loved, they needed other people to see it, you know.
They have quite a story, and it's exciting to share it with people because it's you know, I think unless you're involved in that world, you wouldn't know about it, and it's a cool story.
Well, you know, I was a child of the 70s, so all this drag racing culture was something that I was very in tune to. I used to watch it on the weekends. I remember seeing Snake and Mongoose race. I remember having the toys when I was a little kid. It was, it was fun. It was escapism for me. I always liked fast things, and, drag racers were the fastest.
I remember growing up in LA and hearing the advertisements on the radio for Sunday at the sports arena, meet Snake and Mongoose.
You know, even in today's world, when I run into people, regardless of all the championships I won after that period of time, and different race teams and things that we've done through my career, the thing I'm most remembered for is that 3-year span with the Snake and the Mongoose. Because people seem to, it really caught their imagination, I guess, with the Hot Wheel cars. And then I'm anxious to see the real story come out. What really happened with these two guys, and they're portraying it quite well. With Tom losing his son to leukemia, and then beating me at the last race of the year, and all the drama building up to that. I think it's interesting.
We had ups and downs, hard times, good times, fun times, sad times. This movie's bringing it all in, and I think the people are going to really get into this story, and not only with the families, but the competition between the Mongoose and the Snake, and how really competitive that it really was. I mean, it was like that right down to the crew members. Like, it didn't matter who we raced, but when we raced the Snake, everything went, and we wanted to win. It didn't matter what the cost.
I had known of the fierce rivalry of the two guys, but I did not know Tom McEwen's path that brought him to all the success, and it's a very touching story. So there was something that I didn't know that evoked a lot of sentiment in me, and it's a very heartfelt story. It was very unexpected. When I read the script, it just added an extra dimension to me that was just so compelling. I was very happy to be a part of this.
I've been to a couple drag races around the country in the process of researching the film, and there's nothing like it. There's simply nothing like it. And the rumble, the sound, you can feel it on your skin before you can hear it, and all of that is really part of it. And I think that's what part of the addiction.
Tom's great. I love him. Spent a lot of time with him in prep for this. As an actor, I feel you always have a responsibility, whether it's a fictional character or not. You are telling someone's story somewhere. Now the guy's story you're telling is sitting watching you retell it. So I feel like not only the respect level for him, but also the constant wanting to make sure that he likes it. About 6 weeks before shooting, when we really actually was really real, it was really happening, every Monday I would drive down to him. We would take time during the day to go to a location in the script, and he would explain to me the scenes that were in the script, how it happened and what actually happened. And he was very cool also about understanding it's a movie. He said, they're gonna do that however they do that, they're gonna make it happen, and but this is what really happened. So it was almost, he was very gracious in letting me know how it really went down, and then he would kind of give me the reins and say, you're allowed to bring to this whatever else you think is there, from the life part of the story as opposed to the racing part of the story. There were times it must have been difficult for him. He had a lot of tragedy throughout this story, so that also heightens the respect level, making sure you're very respectful of it, accurate with your performance as far as having real emotion, being really connected to it. You want it to be real. I'm very proud of him and very happy that he's here and he's involved. And I believe Don Perdomo's been present too. So both the guys are here, and I've gotten big thumbs up so far. So
when I watched the guys play us, of course I didn't know how they were going to look like us, number one, so I think they've got the two guys really dressed and looked like us. And the Don's character is just, I told him, I said, you wish you looked that good. I said, the kid's got the eyes, and Richard has got all the right moves, and they're very serious, and I had no idea it would be this good.
I think playing somebody who's still around is one thing, and then somebody who's around but excited and enthused and participating in the process is also, it's a real privilege. It's a real treat. Somebody who's actually happy that it's being made and feels represented, and that they have this source book. I go to Snake and talk to him about a whole range of things, and he's there for me, and he explains it, and it kind of really adds an authentic spine to the storytelling process, I think, in a way that we just simply wouldn't have without him being there.
When I met him in person, especially after he shaved, it was a little scary, because I thought, damn, this guy, I think we look alike. So we went to lunch one day. He came down to my house. We went to lunch, and we bonded real quick. And I really like him playing me in this deal. He's perfect.
I like the story. I like the script a lot, and seems like a really good cast of people.
Great cast. It's funny because to look at them and to look at the old pictures, they're almost identical matches to these guys, and fantastic actors doing a great job.
You have legends that are alive, and you're able to ask your questions, and you're able to get the right answers, and you're able to get the information about what they wore, how they wore it, why they wore it, why they drove the way they did, what moved them to drive that way. It's been an extraordinary experience to work with both of them.
The script itself was so good that even though I didn't know racing through and through myself, it didn't even matter. I knew I'd be a fan of it by the time the movie was over. It's my first time playing a mother, and the idea of kind of diving into seeing what that must be like from the parents' perspective was really interesting to me. And she's kind of tragic in a way, because she meets this man and they fall in love, and it is a true love, but he has this lifestyle, this kind of fancy lifestyle that just didn't suit her needs. There's women around all the time. She has these kids, and she feels like she's at home by herself while her husband's kind of away. So just the idea of her kind of being by herself, whether she was or not, but she felt like she was. And I thought that was so wonderful, and I was going to be so interested to see how to dive into that.
Well, I've never had the opportunity of playing somebody based on a real person. I've played characters loosely based on a couple of people, but this was a real treat for me, because Lynn is
such a strong woman, and that's an exciting opportunity as an actress, to play a woman who has control and is an important piece of the puzzle, which Lynn is into the whole scheme of Don's life and his career. And yeah, it was just really exciting to get to know her and listen to her stories and see those experiences through her eyes, which are often very different than the guy's perspective.
You know, it's a lot more work than I ever imagined. I mean, you know, scene after scene and takes and different camera angles. It's quite a process. I'm anxious to see the real story come out.
But I think it's going to be something that we'll look back on as a proud thing of having a movie made of us. But not just a movie. It's going to be something that's really good, a good movie. And I think the people are going to leave the theater saying that, you know, some of them will be crying. And overall, it's just a really fun thing. And I'm looking forward to the finished product.
Yeah. Got it. Get him out of there. Good. Very nice.